Hey, hey, what's up, everybody? Glad to be joining you tonight. I've got Brad and Christina Love, former owners of CrossFit Gym. What was it? I'm drawing a blank on the CrossFit Gym.
CrossFit 117.
That's right. Okay. And then Brad is actually a CrossFit coach, CEO of Mach Foods. And Christina is a dietitian, registered dietitian.
Mm-hmm.
And very informative. I've been on a couple of her seminars where she talks about nutrition, and it always gets me kind of down this rabbit hole and really starts getting me thinking about what I'm doing in my own nutrition. So I'm super excited to have them on. We're going to talk a lot about nutrition. We're going to talk a lot about suggestions, tips, tactics, all the good stuff that goes along with that. But first, I'd just kind of like to hear your guys' story, tell the audience a little bit more about yourselves and kind of how you all started this journey. So
Go ahead, honey.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Justin. We're excited to be on here. So as you mentioned, I am a registered dietitian. I have been for the last 9 years. I also have my master's in exercise physiology. When I was a senior at Michigan State, just realized that I wanted more out of my collegiate career and joined or tried out as a walk-on the track team and made it. So who actually does that? Me. And because of that really just kind of spiraled me towards the direction of sports nutrition and sports performance, which I think I would have never really been exposed to. So kind of brought me to Texas, all that. And, really felt that having the nutrition was important because we all eat. That's the one thing about to me, it's a common language. You can go anywhere to third world countries, to Europe, anywhere. And what is one language that we all speak? We all eat, and you can kind of communicate through food, as silly as that can be. And, so it's very important, nutrition, but then also exercise. You can't really excel without being well-versed in both. And I always saw that as important. And so that's kind of what I've been doing and has always been, since those days at Michigan State and beyond in grad school, that's always been, who I am and what I am and what I do is kind of, I live that healthy lifestyle through fitness and nutrition and, have worked, I guess, a variety of different jobs in the nutrition field. That have also kind of added more nutrition tools to my toolbox, as far as that, as well as also in the fitness world too. So
for sure, always growing, always learning. That's the way it happens.
You got to, right?
Yeah. So I got my start in nutrition really, and exercise, really, I've always cared about it, honestly. I mean, I've always been an athlete. I played 5 different sports and, pretty much my entire life, and enjoyed them all. Even whenever I got out of high school, it was something that I still really enjoyed doing. I locked arms with a supplement company and started selling supplements when I was almost 20, so 19, almost 20. And at first I started it off as just an opportunity, a way to make some money. But as I connected with dietitians, other personal trainers and nutrition experts, my training led me down the road of saying, listen, nutrition and exercise is really the most important and most valuable piece of someone being healthy. And so that led me into exploring nutrition, how to help people feel better, live longer, have more energy. And so obviously the exercise component of it is something that I got super excited about, just being an athlete. And one of the things, I graduated high school weighing about 160 pounds soaking wet. In fact, I remember this one time where we were watching game film after a football game. I was a junior in high school. And so we were running a play and coming around the side. It was kind of a reverse play. And I led out in front. I was the quarterback. I led out in front. And I kind of stopped to sort of pick up some, extra, people coming and trying to tackle our guy. And I see our center just come through and whop and just hammer somebody. This guy completely laid out. He's sliding on his back, you know, just destroyed. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do the same thing. And so I find somebody that I can go hit. And on this video, I'm hitting this guy as hard as I can. He barely moves. And you see my feet flutter up in the background like that. And I just don't do anything. And everybody in the whole room just laughs at me. And I'm like, oh, gosh. So I played
little Brad, huh?
yeah. Oh, yeah. I was a little guy. I was a little guy for sure.
Definitely never heard that story.
But after I graduated high school, I started to realize nutrition played such a factor in gaining muscle, gaining size, strength, speed, explosion, everything. And so I got into that. I got into sports performance coaching. I was a speed and strength coach for a couple of years. I was a personal trainer. You know, just working with regular people, helping them lose weight one-on-one. And then I started diving into CrossFit, and CrossFit really became a big love for me because there was so much movement principle behind what I was studying. It made a lot of sense to me. I had personal training certifications in the past, and the certifications didn't do for me what the CrossFit education did for me. It didn't supply me with the knowledge that a CrossFit education did. And so anyway, long story short, led us to start a gym. And through that gym, we realized another way that we really needed to start providing solutions to people for their health and wellness is actually giving them every opportunity to succeed through their nutrition by providing, you know, fully prepped meals, supplementation, all those kinds of things. So.
Perfect. Yeah, and we'll get to the meals here in a minute, but definitely know the quality of the food and the quality of the preparation that goes into that is outstanding. So, well, cool. Well, both those stories are great. I can feel you on the 160 because I'm like 165. I've been 165 since I was in 7th grade. And I dial my nutrition in, but I just can't ever get over that hump. So I have a feeling what we're going to talk about here.
Good.
Yeah, I feel what we're going to talk about here tonight is going to be super beneficial for me and for the audience. So we know you can't outwork nutrition, your nutrition. So it's a big thing. And that's kind of why I want to, it's one of the topics I want to talk about the most on this podcast. So we're going to talk a little bit about the business later in nutrition, but let's get into some basic nutrition strategies that anyone can follow. This is not like taking that dive deep into like, you know, blood tests and all that sort of stuff, but what just kind of basic stuff. What do you tell people that you're really trying to get on the right path, or say you have a nutrition challenge at the gym, something like that? What is your basic staples?
Yeah. You know, ultimately, I mean, I've been a health coach. I've worked with clients, you know, through a private practice. And, you know, if they're taking the first step to contact you, then that shows that they're committed. The biggest thing is I've heard, oh, I know what I need to lose weight, but, and then, you know, they're still in that stage of, I haven't lost the weight. I still need to, you know, so it's really just looking at how ready are they to change is the biggest thing. So if they come to you, likely they've kind of pushed on the other side of the hill and they're ready to make that change, you know. And the biggest thing that I can say is, you know, really set some goals. You know, don't compare yourself to anyone else, whether it's, you know, your family member, your friend, your gym partner. Everybody has a little bit different genetics. So you can't really say, well, that person looks like that by doing that diet, I'm going to do the same and I'm going to get the same results. Fortunately, that doesn't work that way. You know, so really it's just kind of set goals. There's kind of a thing called SMART, you know, setting realistic goals, achievable, measurable, things like that are not too far-fetched of, you know, let's say someone walks in and says, hey, I want to run a marathon tomorrow. Okay. Have you ever run before? No, but I saw it on TV. I wanted to try it, or, you know, something like that. It's, well, maybe a 5K to start, you know, or something like that, just to kind of set those goals because, you know, and having long-term goals and short-term goals. But the biggest thing about goals is you don't want to set them too far and too unachievable, because then if they're too unachievable and unreachable, you're not going to achieve them. And then you're going to lose your self-confidence. So ideally you want to set, okay, well, let me just start working at, you know, running 2 days a week, but I know I could probably run 4. Okay, well then let's set that goal at 2. Then you easily get the 2. It makes us feel better when we actually accomplish goals. It does the opposite when we don't. Also really being consistent, like I said, kind of having that mindset and focusing, okay, I'm ready to make the change. So let's be consistent with that goal. You've said it out loud, you have the accountability, make sure that you're doing it daily, or, if it's drinking water, it's many times a day you're drinking your water to hit your goal. Don't think, oh, I did it one time and it'll be a habit for me. The more routine and more consistent we are, it becomes natural, it becomes a habit, and we don't get that, oh, I have to do this. It just becomes a part of who we are and what we're doing, and, eventually towards what we want to achieve. And also, like I said, just kind of tying into that is just making it like a lifestyle. So if it's, something, I'm not going to throw a specific diet, but let's say that your friend lost all this weight doing this, particular diet, and you try it and that's not for you. So let's say, I guess, vegetarian or vegan or plant-based, and you're like, that's not me. Obviously, you're probably not going to have success, because that's not something that aligns with your personal philosophy, personal ideology. And so there's less chance of actually adhering to it. So then find something that will fit your lifestyle, whatever it may be.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's gotta be sustainable. And that's great advice. I love that, because I think that's where a lot of people kind of hit that wall, is when it's something that's so strict and so unreachable, unattainable, that they don't stick with it. So you have anything to add to that, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I actually really like about what she was saying, as far as making it a lifestyle, to add to that is there are times where, it's okay to have a chocolate chip cookie, right? So it's funny, there was a lot of information circling around Facebook in regard to, what some people call the eating season, right? You have this tons of desserts. You're eating these massive meals. You're going to Thanksgiving, and you're eating so much that it's not the Cowboys being terrible that's putting you to sleep. It's actually the fact that you ate so much you can't stay awake. I don't think the Cowboys are terrible, by the way. I just thought I'd say that.
They are.
But anyway, so one thing I really thought was cool is what I saw one of my buddies put something out that said, between now and Christmas, you were going to eat on average 108 times. You're going to eat maybe 5 of those meals will be holiday meals. So give yourself a little bit of a break. 1 salad doesn't make you skinny. 5 salads doesn't make you skinny. 5, meals that you're going to enjoy for yourself over the next 108 isn't going to make you fat. So I mean, Christina and I, we've always kind of talked about, nutrition, things in moderation, and being consistent with, your lean meats, your veggies, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and reduce the sugars as much as possible. So we've always believed in that.
For sure. Yeah, that's a great, that kind of sums it up all in one sentence right there,
Yeah.
which is kind of the Greg Glassman way. So
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Well, so now if we do want to take a little deeper dive, and maybe you're ready to go to that next level, and say, for instance, for like me, I've never had blood work done, as far as like Insider Track, or what are some of the other ones? I just like a regular dietitian. So what do you say to somebody who's got like, okay, we're eating, good lean meats, we're eating vegetables, say 90% of our meals are super, super clean. We're just dialed in. What would be kind of that next step? What would your suggestion be to somebody like that? Like tips and tactics to really dial it in from there?
Yeah, and ultimately, like I said, it's that commitment level. So if you're already eating, lean meats, or if it's, plant-based protein, that's fine as well. And then, tons of plant-based vegetables, fruits, things like that are all healthy and clean. So minimizing your processed or any of that junky snacky type stuff. That was kind of what I categorize it, because usually I can get this vision of cookies and cupcakes and all this stuff just going through my head. So I just assume that everybody is like seeing exactly what's going through my head, and I just can't say it fast enough. So all of that's
Sounds like a Christmas story.
yeah, it's just
Right.
like, what is it from like Wreck-It Ralph? You just see all these pictures of, gumdrops and stuff. Ultimately that you are choosing that. And then if it's, well, hey, I want to get, I want to bring my body fat down a little bit lower, or I want to, increase my performance at the gym. Ideally that should have gotten you to a certain point, but then it's going to be, okay, well, maybe it is working with, a licensed dietitian or someone that can really figure out, well, what are the calorie needs? The biggest thing with weight, over 75% of the American population is overweight or obese. So if you have a normal BMI or a normal body fat percentage, you're actually